Okay. I am grateful that you guys are all with me tonight. I do appreciate um, your thoughts and your insights and your perspectives because it really helps me a lot. Tonight, I want to talk about gratitude for our journeys and for our stories um, because we each have one. And uh, none of us have that perfect, ideal, whatever story, journey, whatever, that if you grew up in Alabama, like I did, being told, if you're a good girl and you do everything you're supposed to, and you go up and you get married in the temple, you'll live happily ever after. And that doesn't necessarily happen. So we each have a different journey. We each have a different story. What I love about the Single Adult Program is that we can come together and share our stories, our insights, and our perspectives to help lift and strengthen each other as you guys do for me. And I appreciate that. I know that through the last few months, I have shared my story. I have shared different experiences I've had, shared different insights, different perspectives. So tonight, what I'd like to do is open it up for you guys, if you want to share your story or any part of your story, what you have learned from it, and the insights and perspectives that you've gained from it. So with that, who would like to be first? Anybody?
And I don't mind sharing some things.
Awesome.
I'm not great at thinking on my feet, and so I apologize. This might be
It's
really
okay.
simple. That I was divorced in 2013,
Mhm.
and I think early there were various things. I mean, marriage is hard, and so I mean there were certainly a lot of good things. I was married for 15 years. There were a lot of good things, but even early on, I'm like, okay, this is a little harder than I expected. And obviously I wasn't expecting I was hoping not for hard. But I think early on in my marriage, I came to appreciate where I kind of had taken for granted that there were a lot of people in my life who had my best interest in mind, and a lot of people in my life who, I kind of, when I got married, I assumed that my husband, who was a little immature, would grow up just because we were that age and we were married. And of course, all married people do these responsible things little, and I find out that's not always true, but and so I learned to appreciate in observing other people, and just that, not to take maturity and making adult decisions for granted. And that and and then at my after my divorce, when I was going through a lot of social turmoil and adjustment, one of the books I had read that was recommended by a therapist had recommended, first thing in the morning, make a list of things you're grateful for, even the hard things that have happened to you, and what you've learned from them and how you're grateful for those things. And that was really therapeutic to make those lists and work through those things. And that as much as there were things in my marriage that were hard, that I did learn great perspective from those things. And so
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love the idea of writing about things that you're grateful for. Gratitude actually changes our brain chemistry. It can actually change different cellular function in our body just by being grateful. It's amazing how it changes the neurons in our brain. So that's a great idea. I think I'm going to do that. You said 5 things in the morning?
and it might have given a certain number, and I don't remember the number. It was easy to come up with more than five.
Okay.
More of a time thing,
Okay.
than that at some point you have to get up and move on with your day. But it was just really easy to come up with a long list of things.
Okay.
Five's a good number.
That could
Cool.
go yellow pad prayer.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I've got my stack of yellow pads that I think are collecting dust. I need to pull those out and start using them because I could use them right now. That'd be awesome.
I'll share something.
Okay.
I was when you were talking about how, growing up and being told that getting married in the temple and life was all going to be happy and everything. I think I kind of grew up too with the idea that, I was going to grow up and get married and take care of my kids and life was going to be wonderful. My parents were both converts to the church, so I didn't grow up with LDS relatives, and my dad left the church when I was 13 and lived a life that he had taught me was wrong. So that was really confusing and hard at the time. But I got married very young. I got married when I was 18 to someone who had been raised in a different religion. And I think maybe I figured if I got married in the temple, that's great. But if I didn't, I wasn't really worried about it. And I was married to him for 18 years. He's the father of my biological children. And so after we got divorced, it was a couple years later that I had moved to a different state and got involved in the single scene and was ready to try to maybe meet somebody to get remarried. I still had 2 younger children at home and a grown daughter. And so in my mind, I thought, well, I'm going to do it right this time. I'm going to marry somebody in the temple. I'm going to, it's going to be, I'm going to make the right choices and somebody that, can believe the same things I do and live the same way I do. And I found as I was attending the different singles activities, I was making friends with people who had had temple marriages that didn't work out. But I got remarried, and I honestly have just recently gotten divorced from my second marriage just within the last 2 months. And it was a temple marriage. And I have learned that the ideal that I thought I was going into, there still can be issues and problems. And I know after my first marriage, I sometimes would think to myself, well, maybe if I had prayed about it more, or this or that. But I don't regret my first marriage. I loved my first husband very much. He was an alcoholic, and ultimately, problems from that is what ruined our marriage. But I feel like I'm losing my thought now. Anyways, I didn't regret it because I have 3 beautiful children that I love and that came from that marriage. And I learned a lot of things that I didn't know that has given me the ability to have empathy towards other people and other situations that I wouldn't understand. And even in my second marriage, I raised 2 stepsons. The youngest one is 16 and is still with his dad. In another state from where I'm at. I left where we were at and came to live closer to my oldest daughter and grandchildren. So I'm completely starting over new. And emotionally, it's difficult right now. But I learned a lot. The oldest stepson I raised had Asperger's, which is a higher functioning form of autism, and the 16-year-old doesn't really want anything to do with me, and that's hurtful because I've raised him since he was 5. But I am grateful for everything I've learned along the way and for my ability. I've thought many times I would like to share my story somehow with people because I feel like it could be beneficial and helpful. And I wouldn't necessarily have the understanding that I have of different situations had I not experienced a lot of the things that I experienced.
Maybe we need to chat.
Yeah.
Come up with a little storybook idea or something. 'Cause I'm telling you, I really think that some of us have some stories that people need to hear. We can change the names.
I thought I'll just write it for my family
I
and
know, right?
not public because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But I thought, no, if I'm going to write it, it's going to be real. It's going to be the truth. And if anyone's feelings get hurt, they're just going to have to understand that these are the facts.
Right.
So
I know, for real.
yeah.
Really. That's something. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone else want to share? Tonight, we're just sharing gratitude for our stories and our journeys and what we've learned along the way and what insights, perspectives, or thoughts you may want to share with us. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it really gratitude is part of my peace and happiness. Even tragedy for me is a sense of appreciation of
Fred, can you talk just a little louder?
Is that better?
Little.
Okay, I've got a new,
Yeah.
a new little camera here. Maybe it's not doing as well as I thought.
The camera's good. It's just the you're fine now. Just speak up a little bit, and then we can hear you.
Okay,
You're good.
I'll try to speak louder.
Okay.
My grant just a few weeks ago. I think all of our experiences bring gratitude to us, bring understanding to us, where we can really be help to others more. And I know everything that the challenges that I've had have been I'm able to identify with other people and able to empathize with other people and let them know because I understand, or I think I do. I get it when I hear a tragic story because I've been through a few. Let me give you a quick. My grandson was killed in a motorcycle accident just a couple weeks ago. He was 26. Real positive guy. No, just a friend to everyone. He was not active in the church. Whereas his twin brother has been married and so forth and so forth. But the things I've heard about him, being as far away as I didn't have a real close relationship with him, but I feel we knew each other and we got along. But everything they said about him was, Andrew was everybody's friend. He was non-judgmental and all these things. And then his father at the service in the group said, he has a Christ-like attributes that I need to have. He went on to say that, I'm ready to judge. I'm ready to tell you didn't live the commandments, and this is why, whatever. But Andrew would never do that. And, so much we can learn from those experiences. But what happened was after he was killed, he died, I felt tremendous pain for my daughter and his twin brother in particular. Thinking, oh my gosh, I can't imagine. I've never experienced losing a child. I just can't imagine. And I knew my daughter was obviously very distraught. And a little silver lining appeared in this whole tragedy. This young man was an organ donor. And I'm not an organ donor because I think they're going to want to kill me to steal my organs. And I'm getting over that. And so in the process of them, this organ donation process, which is very personal and sensitive, the way they work with the family and everything, and identifying them, and actually they went into, he was brain dead. So he was brain dead on Friday morning. They didn't do the surgery to remove the organs until Sunday. So they had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to say goodbye. It was really great. I think you were great. It was really a good life experience for them. But what left them smiling, if you will, through the tears, was that think of all the people that benefited from his death. Because of his age, because of his health, they just took everything. And my son-in-law even said, well, there's nothing in there but a straw man in that casket. They took all his parts and his eyes and his bones and and they're going to put cardboard tubes in his arms to make sure he got something in there. I mean, they had a sense of humor about it, but they cheerfully appreciated the fact that so many people benefited from the loss of his life. Probably a couple of dozen people at least benefited directly from organ transplants and other transplant types of things. So I guess we have a sense of gratitude that is very thankful that my son was able to help other people. And, you can't just walk away with a smile and a really good. So many things we can be thankful
Fred, you sound like you're underwater. You sound like you're underwater again.
Underwater.
Yeah, come on, get out of the water.
$5 at the flea market. What do you expect?
Get up, get going, and talk. Love you, Fred. Sorry about your grandson.
Fred, I can only imagine the loss that you and your family have experienced. I am so sorry about that.
I didn't tell that story. So many of us who most of us are happy. We dwell upon the bad, sad side of life. You know what? I know a lot of there's some really sad, challenging, deep, deeply hard things some of y'all have gone through. I cannot imagine guilty. But forgive those good side. We can require.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and that story and that I know that that's more of a recent story, but thank you so much for sharing that because I really feel like that helps. There have been others that I've known about that have experienced losses with their children or grandchildren passing away, and can only imagine what that would be like. I hope that's something I don't have to experience. Right. Is there anyone else that would like to share any insights, perspectives, or thoughts on any aspect of your journey or your story? Anything you've learned?
I haven't learned anything from this thought.
Okay.
However, I probably have. I do recall something happening in the past where somebody had given some advice about coping with negative experiences in your life through gratitude and what is it that you're supposed to do? Have you ever heard of this exercise where you say you're grateful for something related to somebody that you don't like?
Oh, I've not heard of that.
I don't remember how it goes exactly. I just know that under the premise of, say, the definition of gratitude and the physiological change that you have by expressing gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
taking somebody that you don't like, say, I'm going to walk on a really sensitive ground here, but my late wife's mother,
Okay.
whom we've had a very difficult time with in our life,
Uh-huh.
I should, and this is a healthy exercise for that, say
Sure.
5 things that I'm grateful for from her. I'm
Right.
only going to provide 1 tonight because I couldn't really think of the other 4 as I was
Okay.
thinking about this thought. But she made an outstanding peach cobbler.
There you go.
And if I wanted to, I could say she made an outstanding blackberry cobbler and an outstanding blueberry cobbler. And I could come up with 5 fruits that she did an outstanding job with. But I'm not going to be able to say anything else about that. However, the point is, when you can, and this is a Christ-like attribute, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
for somebody in your life that you have experienced a great deal of negative energy from, trying to find 5 positive things that you could say, I'm grateful for that person, whatever they might be.
I love it. I needed that, Michael. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. So have you used that with other people in your life?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
I told you I'm having a negative experience with somebody right now for
Right.
a while, and I'm trying to. Although I can say a lot of nice things about that particular person, she's just making it very difficult to. to
Right.
do that. I still could say a lot of nice things about her, though.
Sure. Okay.
But the idea, like I said, is it does help you. And I don't believe this is theory, because I know that this is, I know that I've probably applied this in my life in the past, but, and I can't give you a specific example. I'm sorry, but that's because I'm old and I can't remember things either. But I do recognize that, yes, the physiological change that you were describing earlier about being grateful for
Mhm.
is applicable in this situation as well. And it
Okay.
will help you cope with the circumstance of the negativity that you are experiencing.
Awesome. Great way to word that, Michael.
Trying to.
I appreciate that. That's awesome. All right. I'm going to do that. That's cool. Pull out one of my yellow pads and start writing down. Go ahead,
Sometimes-
Kelly.
Well, I was just going to say, if we're talking about how our brain grows, which I mean, we're talking about the kindness change. We got a new ward today. Our ward split, and anyway, we had an excellent talk in Nashville at the Nashville conference about retention change and change making your brain grow. And I know all kinds of stuff about how that helps you keep from getting dementia and
Yeah.
amazing things. And I'm always fascinated by the science behind the miracles.
Mhm. Yeah.
Things that my
Right.
father's just genius. Anyway, love it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So even though we've all been on a different journey, some of us have had similar paths. Right now, we're all walking the same path of being single at the same time, for whatever reason, to help support each other and to be there for each other and to uplift each other. It really helps when you show up wherever the single adults are gathering together to help strengthen each other, whether it be on a webinar like tonight, because you guys have definitely helped me and inspired me, or whether it be at an activity or an event or whatever. Just go with the attitude of being there to help uplift, encourage, inspire, make somebody else's world, journey, story a little better. And that's what we can do. It's be there for each other and help us all get through this journey together. Because for whatever reason, we're all in it together. And I really feel like if we can just be there to support each other and help each other along the way, we will receive great blessings for that and be grateful for it. Now, before we head out, can you guys share with me something you're grateful about the Single Adult Program for?
Yesterday we had a Thanksgiving dinner in Columbia, South Carolina, and it was a good dinner. So I'm grateful for somebody that can cook.
Yay, that's awesome. I love it. Thank you, Kelly. I love you. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you guys. All right, anything else you guys want to share that you're grateful for about the Single Adult Program?
I am grateful for you, for all the things that you have taught me, and for all the conference that you have put together, that I have people there that I like, and I'm grateful for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Carmen. You're such a sweetheart.
Thank you.
I love you. Okay, anyone else?
I'll add that I've enjoyed attending various single adult activities here in our area, and I've met a variety of people, and met some people I consider really good friends who have been a great support.
Awesome. What area are you in, Mary Kay?
Maryland, so the
Okay.
greater DC area.
Yeah. Awesome. That's great. I have one of my sons
Right.
thinking about moving to Virginia, and I'm trying to tell him, no, I need you closer. All right. Anyone else?
I am grateful for all the people that I've met, all the friends from here to California, just putting together Airbnbs for conferences and stuff, and just meeting. I mean, and we were just talking about this the other night. A couple of ladies came and helped me unpack at my apartment, and one friend was talking about when we were in Nauvoo, there were several women, and somebody came up and said, "Oh, y'all are great friends. Huh? You've known each other a long time." And it's like, well, let's see, Michelle, we met in May. Pam, 2 weeks ago at the General Conference Fest,
Yeah.
and just really neat. Having something in common with people, getting together with people that you don't know, but you have the same values, and you can enjoy time together and not be judged, and and just have fun. So I'm
Right.
grateful.
Right. And some of us just click right away, right, Kelly?
Yeah.
Like for real. Like there's so many where we just can become instant friends, like we've known each other forever.
I just love everybody. You do too, so that helps.
Yeah. Right. Right. I know. It's like as long as you're open for friendship, you will make friends. And that's just an awesome opportunity, I believe, that we have. So nobody who is single should be without friends. That is for sure, because there's so many of us.
And I went without. It's like I said, I just moved, and the last time I moved, I did a lot of stuff by myself. I stayed in my apartment. Poor pitiful me. I wish I could get this done, kind of thing. And I mean, of course, there's always the elders quorum. Okay, the elders quorum, but you're not going to have them come in and help you put away your dishes,
Right.
And it just, and I mean, I went on our Facebook group page and said, "Pizza party at my house. This is how it's going to work. You're going to help me unpack." Anyway, help me unpack the boxes. Then we order the pizza. But anyway, it's just neat having, and then the next time, oh, y'all going to the movie? Our group around here, they get together. They had movie night last night.
Right.
And then you don't go, and somebody says, "Well, hey, where are you? What's going on?" So it's
Right.
just nice to have people. And when you're down and you don't want to call your kids, or you have something that you want to talk to somebody about, you don't necessarily want to put your business out there to your kids or your family.
Right. Yeah.
It's just really, or your ward or your relief society or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's just to have people that you can open up to and talk to.
True. That's awesome. That's great. Thanks so much for sharing that. Well, I really appreciate you guys. I think you guys are just so awesome, and I appreciate you being in my life and being a part of my journey. I think it's great. All right, I am going to be signing off for tonight. You guys have a great Sunday evening. Thanks for sharing your Sunday night with me. And I will be talking to you later. Good night. Bye-bye.